Never gonna lose, never gonna win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose, never gonna win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. We are live. that is the strapline of my company. So that is a song that I wrote, Simon, called Full Cup. Okay. And so I've got, it says here on my you get out what you put in. So that's where that's come from. So hey, Simon, how the devil are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Ashley.
No, thank you very much for coming along. And so first question I always ask my guests is, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, yeah, I live in Cornwall, live by the sea, and I moved down here about 10, 11, 12 years ago, that sort of time. Get into a lot of motorsports. My son is a keen karter, so I tend to be the mechanic for him these days. And I have a software company that I run down here in Cornwall.
Excellent. You're here to talk about FIBRE CRM, but I want to talk about motorsport now. Come on. I think you have to come on another show.
I love motorsport. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. So how long have you been karting then?
Well, my son is, he was in the British Championships. So we did it for about 8 or 9 years. And then I did it before him. So yeah, it's good fun. Good fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm sure we're here to talk about CRM today.
We certainly are. And I don't know if you saw, you did see my post because you commented on it. So there's a lot of things going on with and I guess your biggest competition is going to be Excel or a spreadsheet of some sorts. But a lot of people are sort of like saying, right, I need a CRM system. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
So, well, I've been in CRM for 30 years, most of my life, helping all sorts of businesses. And I run a company called FIBRE CRM. So we help accountants with streamlining their onboarding processes and helping them find and retain new clients. So we only focus in the accountancy sector these days. And, you know, that's our focus.
Yeah, and it's a super niche to have because we were talking before we came on live. There's a lot of software products out there. You know, the big four, if you want to call them that, where you know they may have started doing something awesome like accounts or tax, and then they've gone into practice management CRM. But obviously, what you do is a little bit different.
Well, we're not a practice management system. We're a CRM system, and it is about integrating it with practice management. So a lot of the bigger firms will use products like CCH or Iris, Walters Clear, you know, those sort of products. And a lot of their client data is in those products, but they need to surface some of that data for marketing and for general CRM activities. So we tend to integrate with those products rather than replace them.
Right. Okay. That sounds absolutely superb because the thing is, right, is I've got all my data here and then I've got to put it here as well because then I want to do my marketing and then I've got something else, so I've got to put it there. And then you end up with 3 or 4 different databases all doing different things and then not all updated at the same time. So what you're saying is I stick with my Iris or whatever else is out there. There are other products. I give Digitor a shout out because I used to work there. But so what you can do is I can keep the software that I know and love, but I'm just going to put a turbo pack to it for the cool bits. Is that right?
Partly, I would say that you should stick to the user software that is built for that particular purpose. So practice management is a practice management. It's not a CRM system, as a CRM system is not a practice management system. So you need to have these different tools in place for their functions, but they need to work together. So you can go out and buy a CRM system that sits outside of your practice management system, but then you've got the problem of double entry or keeping one thing up to date. And that's where some of the challenges come. So smaller firms will tend to use their practice management as their CRM as well. And to some extent, that's okay. But we find a lot of firms with their practice management system, a lot of very poor quality data in it. There's a lot of prospects in it. Their introducers and referrers are probably stored in a spreadsheet somewhere, and they just end up with disconnected data and no real strategy around their CRM.
Yeah, no, that is, I know that because I speak to lots of accountants. So how long have you been working with bookkeepers and accountants then, Simon?
We fell into it in 2014, so about 8 years ago, when our own accountants said, hey, we've got all this data. It was in they use Iris, and all their data was sort of locked away. They couldn't really do very much email marketing very easily. They had to do a lot of data mining to get the right sort of data out. So we built the integration at that point. And then since then we've been providing CRM to other Iris customers, and more recently Waters Clue and products like that.
Brilliant. And so you've got lots of clients. What sort of challenges are you seeing bookkeepers and accountants having at the moment?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I would say that the biggest challenge is the onboarding process. It's moving the inquiry through the sales funnel and then onto actually the KYC process and doing the anti-money laundering checks and getting client data from clients in a very secure way. And that whole process is time consuming and clunky for most firms. So that's one challenge that we found with firms, which we now help deal with. And the other one is about data quality. A lot of firms in their practice management system and their tax software, they've got a lot of very poor quality data that's not structured. So those are the sort of the two main challenges that we're seeing in the market.
Yeah, that onboarding is huge because there's lots of things you've got to do as an accountant or a bookkeeper, isn't it? You've got all your money laundering and all stuff like that. So basically, you take care of all of that for them.
Yes, we've sort of built out what we call it like a KYC module. So it's really, it helps track all the due diligence, the risk assessments, all those compliance steps that a firm has to manage the approvals process. It's all about saving partners and administrators, the time. So, and it's a natural evolution from the lead or the prospect in your CRM system. You're producing proposals, you're producing engagement letters. You should be doing all that from your CRM system. And then at the point the customer wants to go ahead, then you're then going into the onboarding stage. So it's a natural next step, all the way to the point where then the CRM is creating the client in the practice management software. So it's about streamlining that process, and that's what our business is there to do.
No, absolutely fantastic. Because the other thing is these other products don't do any of that. So when you're putting all this together, and you're bringing on a new client, how do you help them? Because that's the when I was working with accountants and putting in new software, that is the hardest part. So what sort of things do you do to get around that?
Well, I mean, the implementation process for a CRM system can be quite broad and wide. Sometimes we just have the marketing company or marketing department, contacting us saying we want to do better email marketing. But
Okay.
it really, CRM sort of grows much beyond that. Really, you should be looking at upselling capabilities, cross-selling capabilities, client satisfaction surveys, and you can mushroom it into a lot of value very quickly. So how we go about implementing that is really sitting down with them, looking at what their goals are, looking at what their short-term goals are, taking baby steps with it as well to some extent. Not because CRM is such a big product, you need to take it in small steps. But what you have to be very careful of is that you think about the end as well. So you start with that end in mind. You've got to think about where am I going with CRM ultimately, and then bring it back to just small steps. Otherwise, it's too big a thing to think about, and you end up either buying function-specific pieces of software that don't all then talk to each other, and you have no central view of your client database and where you're at with each client. So very much the implementation is about helping those firms through a journey which can take several weeks, months, even years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're looking at a serious tool here, so we've got to get it right. And I don't know if you, again, on my post today, there was a few comments about people who'd put stuff in wrong and dropped it and then went somewhere else. And I've seen that in my software career, the difficulty. So I've got a question for you then, because a lot of people turn around to me and say, "Oh, I want a CRM package," and oh yeah, but I've got this, but it's not a CRM. Can we have a definition, the difference between practice management and CRM, please?
Well, yeah. Practice management for me is about client management. It's about running the tasks of the practice and looking after your clients, doing the things that you have to do, the VAT returns, the corporation tax, all the job management side. That's really what a practice management system is. Whereas a CRM system is more about not just the client relationship management, it's about finding new clients, so it's for your prospects. It's about building your network of introducers and referrers, so it's professional network. And a CRM is bringing all that together. You can do that in some sort of basic form in a practice management system, but they tend to be limited. So a full-blown CRM system like a Salesforce, like a Microsoft Dynamics, Zoho, FIBRE CRM, those mainstream CRMs go much further. It links in with your Outlook. It's a mobile app on your device. You can do your client satisfaction surveys from it, so you can keep making sure you're happy with the client data. So they go much further than a practice management system in terms of CRMing. So, no, but for the small practice, maybe a practice management system is sufficient for their needs. But if they really want to start getting some sort of real value, then a CRM system is necessary.
Yeah. So Freddie runs his small practice from his office. Is probably not an ideal customer for you. Whereas this other practice where they're looking to grow, they've got a marketing team, they've got a couple of business development managers, then they have to have a CRM system. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can, at the end of the day, a one-man band can have a CRM strategy, very good in Excel, but as soon as you start having multiple users, then you need to have, a different system over and above sort of Excel spreadsheets. Yeah, we tend to work with the mid to large end of the market that will have big tax and practice management systems like Walters Clear, like Iris, those sort of products, and they need to be integrated with a CRM system.
Yeah. So I don't know, I'm looking down because I've got my mobile phone, because the other day I did this and there was no comments coming in, and I thought there was nobody watching, but I've got a few people watching, and I've got a question here from Pavel. Have we reached some plateau in terms of technology development and benefits as we see as we as technologists? So this is a guy I used to work with when I was a Digital. We can offer to users in the next 2 to 5 years. Did that make sense, or shall I read it again? Have we reached some plateau in terms of technology development and benefits we as technologists can offer to users in the next 2 to 5 years?
I think it's a great question. I think we definitely haven't reached a plateau. We're seeing a lot of new technology coming along, electronic signing of engagement letters, making it so much simpler for that bit. AI is coming along, artificial intelligence, so I think new technology is changing all the time. We all need to change with the times.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when I look at some user interfaces, maybe someone I'm working with somebody and they go, "Oh, I'm struggling with this," or "What do you think of this?" I'll go on and have a look at their screen. And oh my goodness, where did you get that from? And it's some of the technologies that some of these companies are using today are too old, and it's sad.
Well, there's a lot of legacy products out there with a lot of good quality data in them. So practice management systems, some of the bigger ones, they're API-less. People don't have access to them, but there's some great quality data in there that needs to be surfaced. So there's a lot of room for improvement.
And is that so say I've got this really old clunky practice management CRM, whatever it is that's built by Noah. Could you take that and put it all into FIBRE CRM, or have I got to start again?
That's what we did. That's what we
do. Okay, that's
Yep.
absolutely perfect. Because the thing is, you know, when you go into some of these large organizations like banks and stuff, they've got green screens and stuff like that on their computers. Probably not today, but to change that would cost too much money, so they make do with what they've got. And this is what you're finding with some of these bigger firms, isn't it? Is it's like, oh, we can't change it because we're going to lose this, and this. So no, good.
We had an example. We had a Canadian customer, a Canadian accountancy firm, with a system. They said, oh, you can't connect to our practice management system. It's just not possible. We've spoken to the salespeople there, and there's no API. There's no way to get into it. 4 weeks later, we had all that data on their clients flowing into their CRM system, and that was synchronizing every half hour. So it's achievable, but not through modern methods like APIs.
No, perfect. No, that's good to hear. And obviously working all around the world as well. So Michelle has just said hello. So hi, Michelle. I can't see your comment in here, so I can't put it up on screen, but I do have a backup plan here. What's your top tip for bookkeepers and accountants then, right now?
I would say think about data and the governance of that data. Having a cleansing strategy is probably the top tip. So many firms we talk to, they've got a lot of incomplete data in their practice management systems, which makes it difficult to do things. So for example, we had one firm that said, great, we want to target all of our customers with an email marketing campaign. Okay, so who's the primary contact? Oh, we didn't have that designated within the practice management. So it's cleaning up your data. A good CRM system should push good quality data into your practice management, so you're never having to clean it up again. Yeah, and that's what we do. We have one firm that only uses a CRM to create new clients in their practice management system. So all the information has to be filled in before it goes up into practice management. But there's a lot of very poor quality data out there, and think about a strategy for cleaning that.
Yeah, no, the trouble is with that, I've got 500 clients. That's going to take me forever. So how would you get over that obstacle, Simon?
So the CRM is a great way to help clean data up. So for example, we have some partners that have dashboards in the CRM, which one of the dashboards areas is just showing which of their clients don't have an email address, or or some other missing bit of information. So it's not going to happen overnight, and you need a system to help manage that cleanup process. So CRM is actually a really good tool to help in that process.
No, I like that idea. So yeah, what you're saying is look at that list. Don't turn around and go, I'm going to make all my data fine today, because that's going to take you a week. But today I can see that Simon hasn't got an email address. I'll put Simon's email address in. Yeah, I like that.
It can be a KPI. It could be a KPI. What percentage of our database doesn't have an email address, for example? And then you can try and measure that KPI over time and see that improving. So it's an evolution.
Databases, CRM, you get out what you put in. That's the warning here, isn't it? Absolutely. So have you got any examples of anything that you've done, someone sort of like work with you and then they've got, wow, that's amazing. Have you got any great examples of that?
I think the biggest one was, we had one firm, they had 11 offices around the UK, and each office had their own practice management system. So there was no one place for all that data. So we put in a CRM system, and we connected all 11 practice management systems into the one CRM system, certainly surfacing all their client data, the recoverability across all by office and so on. So that was a massive step forward for them. And to do centralized marketing from it as well.
I was going to say that the senior partner was dancing around the office, but the marketing team must have been doing cartwheels.
Yeah, marketing love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely superb. Thank you so much for your time today. How can people get hold of you?
So Simon at FibreCRM.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn.
And if you've got any questions, if anyone's got any questions, they can you can go back and answer them and drop some details in there. But lovely to talk to you. I've got one more question, but I just want to quickly go to next week's guest so that we all know who we've got coming up next week. And we've got the lovely Karen Eckstein's coming in to talk about risk management. So she'll be here next week. But Simon, thank you very much indeed. Your last question then. So when you were at primary school, what did you want to do when you left school?
At that age, I was into watching things like Starsky and Hutch. I don't know whether there's people on the show that know that.
I remember Starsky and
Cops
Hutch.
and robbers. I always wanted to be a police officer in the USA because they carried guns and it looked really cool. So that's at primary school age. That's what I wanted to be and do.
Absolutely. So Starsky or Hutch?
Starsky.
Yeah, he was a bit cooler, wasn't he? He was a bit cooler. That's brilliant. What a lovely. I can see that. Is it a Torino? Is it Ford Torino? I can see that now in my mind. Yeah, absolutely. Simon, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's been delightful, and we could talk about CRM all day, I'm sure. But thanks very much indeed. Thanks very much, everybody, for coming along. Don't know why the comments aren't working, but hey, see you all next time.